we will open our story with our first character. I'll call him Old Gen Guy. Old Gen Guy is a complete weed head and enjoys hallucinogenic drugs. He makes an average wage and has a simple life. His apartment is slightly small and a little bit shabby. His curtains don't match and his toilet smells of urine. But at least this guy knows how to have some fun.
Charming gnome in its garden. Fame or shame? Anita.
I think shame, which is a shame.
Old Gen Guy knows his time is running out. He has to make a decision and act accordingly.
I'm going to vote. Fame.
This is the story of two friends who used to hang out but have been somewhat separated over the last few years, with little in common except for enjoying casual violence and a desire for drugs. The two had a binding friendship when it came to the love of cars.
Wow, you came really hard.
When Old Gen Guy dropped his girlfriend off at home, he decided to finally call his lost friend and see if he could talk to him after all this time.
I'm not avoiding you.
What's wrong with reading books on our own? Well, two things. First, reading is for pussies. Nobody ever learned anything useful from reading a book.
The second character in this story is called New Gen Guy, a slick entrepreneur in making big money, with a constant desire for cocaine and an almost uncontrollable need for sleeping pills. His fast-paced career leaves him strung out and bewildered about everything in his life. He has all he wants, but there is something missing, something different, a different way of actually looking at life, a chill life. The old life that he used to have was gone, but possibly not lost forever.
Hello, this is New Gen Guy.
Ciao, amico mio. Thought we could hang out.
Ciao, amico. Yes. I'm always busy, but let's try and meet. Say, 30 minutes at the Korean Plaza on Palomino Avenue. Bring your new motor as well.
Where is this fucker?
What's going on? Everything is messed up.
It is messed up. A divided world torn apart by wealth and greed.
It's not your fault that the city is getting replaced and we are being blackmailed to move out. We can't let the bastards keep us down.
How do you survive if you don't conform to it all?
It's impossible.
Never attempt the impossible unless it's possible. Okay, I will see you when I have to leave. Ciao for now.
The two went their separate ways. New Gen Guy carried on his businesses as usual and cut down on his coke intake. Old Gen Guy kept on living in his slowly depleting world until there was nearly nothing left and hope was lost. He had over time become the lost one. This anarchic and apocalyptic world was ruled by Old Gen Guy. 1 year later, sometime after April Fool's Day 2025, Old Gen Guy knew that the time was now.